Donald Trump posting on X late last night around 1 a.m., doubling down on eliminating income taxes in the United States. This is the second time he's done this. We're going to show you. Also, the FBI releasing new footage of the infamous J6 pipe boxer, the mysterious person who they claim they still haven't identified or located yet. Well, now just 2 weeks to go until Trump's sworn in, they decide to release new footage of this person. Where did this footage come from? We're going to show it to you. And the White House releasing a video yesterday causing major concern and confusion. The video is titled "The Time to Move Forward Is Now," showing and advertising why Americans should mask up. Very odd. We're going to show you. But before we get started, thank you for liking and sharing these videos. It really helps out the channel. And consider subscribing so you don't miss these regular updates. Early this morning at 1 a.m. Eastern Time, Donald Trump posting on X doubling down his belief that American citizens should pay zero income taxes, something we firmly believe on this channel. I've explained this multiple times, and I'll do so again after we look at this. Trump replying to Mark Andreessen, who posted this amazing chart showing how much revenue the U.S. government brings in annually from tariffs. Take a look at this. And the fact that an American president is highlighting this is something I never thought we'd see again. It's reasons like this that people hate Donald Trump so much. There are forces, political forces, that have spent decades transforming this country, and Trump's about to smash their progress into a million pieces. Look at this. Tariffs revenue as a share of total federal receipts between 1798 to 2023. From 1798 up until the turn of the century, 1900, between 50 to 100% of government receipts came from tariffs. That means almost all government revenue was generated from tariffs, the remaining from sales tax. The government was funded by way of tariffing other countries. They only stopped doing this because of Theodore Roosevelt. One man, one president can change the course of history, folks. Roosevelt did it in the worst possible way with taxes 120 years later, and we're still living with the repercussions. Theodore Roosevelt believed wealthy people should pay the government a tax, and he used his political influence to do this, to impose gradual income taxation on U.S. citizens instead of using this system of tariffs that we use since this country was founded. Realize, up until then, up until the early 1900s, income taxes were unconstitutional. In his 1907 State of the Union speech, he said this: "A graduated income tax of the proper type would be a desirable feature of federal taxation, and it is to be hoped that one may be devised which the Supreme Court will declare constitutional." After this, presidents just got more and more greedy. By the 30s, Franklin D. Roosevelt was famous for telling wealthy people, if you don't want to pay your fair share, leave the country. Just leave. And the rest is history. We hear this kind of thing all the time. Bernie Sanders says this kind of stuff all the time. America was unique, folks. Nowhere in the world could the government not impose income taxes on its people. Only in America. We were the land of the free. We've forgotten this. Well, not for long. Not if Donald Trump can help it. So Mark Andreessen posts this chart and says this is really remarkable chart of tariffs as percent of total federal revenue. Second Industrial Revolution, perhaps the most fertile era for technology development and deployment in human history, was between 1870 and 1914. Amazing. Trump responds to Mark Andreessen's post, writing, "The tariffs and tariffs alone created this vast wealth for our country. Then we switched over to income tax. We were never so wealthy as during this period. Tariffs will pay off our debt and make America wealthy again." Hallelujah and good riddance. This is the second time Trump hinted at switching us back to a tariff system over an income tax system. Income taxes are backwards, so backwards. We've just been accustomed to thinking that we owe the government money and that they can do whatever the hell they want with our money. Then to top it off, by the way, states decide to rob us twice, taxing us again and using it for whatever they want. Think about it. Think about this for a minute, right? The federal government has been using our money that we pay them in taxes, and just giving it away. to Ukraine, for instance, $200 billion to Ukraine as a gift. Or if you live in California, your governor uses your money to pay the legal defense bills of illegal migrants fighting federal deportation. What? Think about that for a minute. How utterly backwards and irresponsible that is. We're paying these two parties money, right? The federal government and the state. And the feds are using our money to deport illegal migrants. Then the state is using our money to prevent them from doing that. And if it wasn't for Donald Trump, this mind-numbing idiocy would just continue to get worse and compound on top of itself. And look, I wouldn't mind paying income taxes if they used our money responsibly. If we could see exactly what they're using it for, and it was for the benefit of all of us, if it helped us, but it can't. It never will. The 16th Amendment was the worst edition of the Constitution. It created a monster, a behemoth. It gave the federal government the ability to just take Americans' earnings, gave Washington undue, unchecked power, forcing us to fund this bloated federal bureaucracy. Let me know in the comments if you think we should repeal the 16th Amendment. Yes. In another story, the FBI just released new surveillance footage showing a completely different and new angle of the mysterious individual who planted the pipe, you know what, near the DNC and the RNC on January 5th, only hours before the Capitol riot. Why did it take the FBI 4 years to release this footage? They claimed they had no new information for years. They stonewalled Congress for years about this. Now, only weeks before Trump's sworn in and Kash Patel is about to lead the FBI, they're releasing new information. Here's the new video they dropped on X, asking for the public's help, saying we need help to find this person who put the pipe boxes outside the DNC and RNC offices 4 years ago. If you have any information, call the FBI tip line. Here's my question. Why? Why after 4 years release this now? I take this as a message, folks. They're sending a message saying the person's 5 foot 7 inches tall. Here's another photo they released. And let's not forget that Congress just released bombshell findings about this J6 pipe boxer investigation. Congress found the FBI was engaged in a massive cover-up. Listen to what Congressman Massey said last year to FBI Director Wray, and then I'll show you what their new report found, because they just released this report. It's a bombshell report. And watch how nervous Director Wray looks when being asked specifically about the cell phone data. Watch this.
From Kentucky is recognized for 5 minutes.
I thank the chairman. Director Wray, in light of information provided to us about the FBI's investigation of the January 6th pipe bombs, in an interview with Assistant Director Stephen D'Antuono, Chairman Jordan and I sent you a letter a month ago. Some of the information that we found in that interview was that phone data that could have helped to identify the pipe bomber was corrupted, was unusable. He also wasn't sure who found or how the second bomb was found at the DNC. Do you know how the second bomb was found at the DNC? And when do you plan on answering our letter?
Well, as to the letter, I will work with the department to make sure we can figure out what information we can provide. As you know, this is a very active, ongoing investigation, and there are some restrictions on that, but we will do
we
our
can
best
handle
to respond.
classified information, and we fund your department, and so you need to provide that.
It's not, respectfully, it's not an issue of classification. It's an issue of commenting on ongoing criminal investigations, which is something that by longstanding department policy we are restricted in doing. And in fact, the last administration actually strengthened those policies partly because—
That's not our policy, though, and we fund you, so let's move on. Do you know how the second pipe bomb— can you tell us how the second pipe bomb was found at the DNC?
Again, I'm not going to get into that here.
900 days ago is when this happened, and you said you had total confidence we'd apprehend the subject. We've found video that looks like somebody, a passerby, miraculously found this pipe bomb at the DNC and then notified the police. Miraculously, I say, because it was at specifically the precise time to cause the maximum distraction from the events going on at the Capitol. Can you show this video that we have, please? I'd like to know if the director has seen this. This is somebody with a mask on, wearing a hat. They're walking in front of the DNC, which is out of the view on the right-hand side. You'll see him come into view. He goes to one police car. He goes to another police car. He's holding a backpack. He's got a mask on. He's talking to the police. And within a minute, they start scrambling. You'll see the camera turn to the pipe bomb, the location of the pipe bomb. By the way, that's, I believe, the Metro police are now getting out of their car, and that's Vice President-elect's detail in the black SUV, I believe, parked about 30 feet from the pipe bomb, eating lunch. Okay, now we go over to the location of the pipe bomb. The cameras are scrambling. It appears to me that that's not a coincidence, that the person with the backpack who walked by that bench and then went up to the police and the detail didn't do that accidentally. They had a purpose in mind, and that what transpired after that was the result of information that person gave to them. If that person found the pipe bomb, would they be a suspect?
Well, again, I don't want to speculate about specific individuals. I will tell you that we have done thousands of interviews, reviewed something like 40,000 video files, of which this is one, assessed 500-something tips.
Have you interviewed that person?
Devices. We have conducted all logical investigative steps and interviewed all logical individuals at this
Then
point.
you need, it's 900 days. You need to tell us what you found, because we're finding stuff you haven't released into the public.
Well, in a new report released by the House subcommittee, they determined that, quote, there is in fact conflicting information as to whether the FBI received corrupted cellular data from the major cell carriers. A former senior FBI official testified that major cell carrier companies provided corrupted cell data to the FBI and suggested that the corrupted data may have contained the identity of this pipe boxer. However, in responses to letters from the subcommittee, the major cell carriers confirmed that they did not provide corrupted data to the FBI and that the FBI never notified them of any issues whatsoever with accessing the cellular data. So they had the identity in this data, but the FBI is claiming it's corrupted. The cell carriers say it's not corrupted. Look, we're going to learn soon the truth about this, folks. 2 more weeks. We need Kash Patel confirmed ASAP, and everything's going to be coming out. In another story, yesterday on January 2nd, the White House releases a video titled "The Time to Move Forward Is Now," featuring masked Americans. This video is now going viral online, freaking people out. Why is the White House pushing mask propaganda all of a sudden? Some people speculating it hints at reimposed mask mandates. Watch this. What in the world are they doing pushing this out now? Well, it turns out this video isn't new. It was originally posted during the pandemic in 2021. So why? Why on earth would Joe Biden's team think it's a good idea to repost this, to recirculate this now? Honest question. We saw some of the same characters who pushed the jab on all of us hard during 2020, like Dr. Wen, come out this week on mainstream media demanding that the Biden administration order up bird flu jabs, demanding the Biden administration get to work in the weeks you have left, she said. You can't make this up. Watch.
That's when it becomes a major threat to humankind.
What should be happening in the Biden administration right now that isn't going on?
Yeah, there are 2 main things that they should be doing in the days that they have left. The first is to get testing out there. I feel like we should have learned our lesson from COVID that just because we aren't testing, it doesn't mean that the virus isn't there. It just means that we aren't looking for it. We should be having rapid tests, home tests available to all farm workers, to their families, for the clinicians taking care of them, so that we aren't waiting for public labs and CDC labs to tell us what's bird flu or not. And the second very important thing is, this is not like the beginning of COVID where we were dealing with a new virus, we didn't have a vaccine. There actually is a vaccine developed already against H5N1. The Biden administration has contracted with manufacturers to make almost 5 million doses of the vaccine. However, they have not asked the FDA to authorize the vaccine. There's research done on it. They could get this authorized now and also get the vaccine out and to farm workers and to vulnerable people. I think that's the right approach, because we don't know what the Trump administration is going to be doing around bird flu. If they have people coming in with anti-vaccine stances, could they hold up vaccine authorization? If they don't want to know how much bird flu is out there, could they withhold testing? I mean, that's a possibility. And I think the Biden administration in the remaining days should get testing and vaccines widely available so that at least it empowers state and local health officials and clinicians to do the right thing for their patients.
All right, that wraps up this episode. Like, subscribe. We'll see you next time.